So, I have noticed that Helluva Boss is currently exploding in popularity, so I thought why don't I review it? So here I am now, reviewing it. I have been following Helluva since episode 1 of the show, as I am personally a fan of Have Been Hotel, the show's whose spin-off this is. The fluidity in the animation, the potentially interesting characters, a refreshingly unique premise with a chaotic feel to it, it almost felt like it was made for me. But for some reason, the Vivzi team still hasn't followed up to Has Been Hotel yet. But we did get a spin-off of the pilot. That is pretty funny to be honest. Hello, boss. Note that this is not gonna be spoiler free. I'm gonna be discussing major plot points without any hesitation. Why? Because this is literally free to watch. You do not even have to invest in it to watch it. Though of course you can support them by buying their merch. But it doesn't change the fact that it is still completely free to watch. I personally wouldn't be surprised if they shifted the show to a streaming service, and I won't be complaining. This is a show that takes real effort and tons of money to make. But we are getting a bit sidetracked here. Let us talk about Helluva Boss then. Let's start about by talking one of its biggest claim to fame. Luna. I mean the animation. Sorry, I misread the script. The animation, I will simply say it, is fantastic, and it is not a step down from Has Been. Of course, it was expected because these guys know how to make animations. Honestly, now that I think about it, this show has better animation than, well, anything airing right now. Though I will say the truth, I do not know much about animation, except that I can generally distinguish between good.
Back out, huh? The night Lorraine died. She wanted to go back, but I wanted to see how high we could go. Bro, plane, look out! You want to know how Lorraine felt when she got sucked into that engine? We're all just tiny bugs, right?
From bad. And Helluva Boss, without a single shred of a doubt, lies in the good side of things. I think we should now look into an area I'm more comfortable with, the story and the characters. Yeah, they're pretty good. The most important thing about the characters is that they seem to have some real personality and chemistry between them. I love whenever Moxie and Blitzo interact. That is just pure comedy gold. But the best part about the characters is that most of them seem to work with every character. Millie and Moxie, Moxie and Blitzo, Blitzo and Stolas, Stolas and Octavia, Stolas and Stella, and Blitzo and Luna, etc. Though I think that Luna hasn't gotten the spotlight she deserves yet. The only episode where Luna is on spotlight is episode 3. But it is still like only 5 episodes long, so I feel like it's not really a valid criticism. I would rather have a show take it slow rather than rush it up. I'm just saying that I would hate her to see her just as a joke character. And no, I'm not joking here. She's the only character that has not been properly introduced yet. I would also like to know more about the Stolas family. Stella still hasn't been quite introduced yet, but I would like to know more about the couple. And my favorite episode is the second one, so know that I would also like to see more of Stolas and Octavia. One last suggestion is to showcase a few problems in Millie and Moxie's relationship to make them just a bit more believable, as they almost feel abnormally in love with each other. Basically, the characters felt like they had so much potential. Not missed potential, mind you. It is only 5 episodes long, but just plain heaps of potential that I would love to see the series to explore in future episodes. About the plot, it is a character-driven show and it shows. Anyway, it really doesn't matter. It isn't the main focus. But where I do have a criticism is the rules of this fictional hell world. Feel like they are just being thought and written at a whim. Like, what happens when these hell creatures die? Where do they even go? This is done to service the plot most of the time, which kinda lowers the stake, as they could just say X couldn't happen because of Y in a whim. And while it hasn't occurred all that much up until this point, the lore still has inconsistencies. For example, how did a huge civilization is made in hell, where all the humans animals when humans are also animals themselves? What happens when demons die? Or why doesn't fire affect them, etc. I know I'm not supposed to look too deep into this, but it is still nagging me. By the way, do not link me to any interviews answering the lore questions. I am reviewing the show and it should be clearly explained in the show. I kinda feel bad for criticizing such a small aspect when these guys are delivering us what looks better than 90% of animation airing today, and all that for free viewing. But I have to refrain from sugarcoating my opinion. Though keep in mind this is now a very minor problem. It could get much worse if the mythos of the show become too plot convenient. This is a problem that has always prevailed fantasy and sci-fi, and it is very hard to avoid as you basically have to make a whole set of rules of the fictional world your story is set in. Remember how in Death Note every rule seemed like they were made for L or Light to do something smart? Or how in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secret all the kids had the coincidence of indirectly watching the Basilisk somehow? Yeah, something like that. It just reduces believability. Even though it is a fictional wacky world, it should feel authentic or it will just feel boring with no stakes at all, which I would prefer not to happen with Helluva Boss. Last thing, I would like the show to get a bit more sentimental at times, something like episode 2. But this is just me and not really an issue with the show and something it has to do. About the humor, I've got some real mixed feeling about this one. The comedy shines when it focuses on the interaction between characters. For example, Blitzo and Stolas, or Blitzo or Luna, or Blitzo and Moxie. You know that? Blitzo really is the funniest character in the show currently. Look, I've got no beef with vulgarity or violence. I love Portal, but when you expect me to laugh at the same overdone, hey, violence, haha, joke, I doubt you will laugh. It is funny the first couple of times, I guess, but just get tiring after a while. Luckily, the comedy leans on the character interaction side for now, which is a good thing. On the sound department, the voice acting and the sound effects are absolutely on spot. There is also music, but I do not consider Hello Boss music to be anything special, inside the show at least. I haven't heard Million Moxie's, song right now, but inside the show it is not really special right now. But this is not a criticism as the music does what it has to, and I think that is enough. Even though more quality music means more feels, which I always appreciate. Overall, the show is pretty darn spectacular with heaps of potential to be explored. I have some concerns regarding how the lore and humor would be handled in the future, but they are not extremely significant. And it is honestly mind-boggling it is free to watch. So go support them if you could. I give Helluva Boss in 7.9 out of 10. And if my review and scores seem disjointed, they are. The show's potential could not be explored in just 5 episodes. Plus, I'm basing my judgment on the belief that this is gonna be a semi-serialized character-driven show, but it just could be an episodic show, and that is not a bad thing. It just has affected my review score as the show seemed to give tidbits of a show with an overarching plot, and that is my opinion on Helluva Boss. Next, I'm gonna review Rick and Morty, so if you are interested, please subscribe. I know I'm not the best in the business, but I'm trying to get the best out of what I got, and your support would be greatly appreciated. Now to abruptly end my review because I'm still not a professional.